Hello and welcome to this week's Vodcast for Thursday the 13th of January with me, Kevin Ross, for an easy listening digest of the week's news from the Melton Times. Coming up, there's triple joy for Melton schools, the Green Team swings into action, and the Poppy appeal raises over £20,000. And in sport, the European Senior Tour is to return to Stutterford Park. All this and more coming up next in the Melton Times Vodcast for Thursday the 13th of January 2011. On the front page of the Melton Times this week, triple joy for Melton schools. It's been a testing few years of Melton's secondary schools, but this week the £45 million reorganisation all came together. The £13 million Melton Vale Post 16 Centre on Burton Road opened its doors for the first time yesterday, 6 months ahead of schedule, and was immediately hailed as a beacon for learning in the 21st century. Pupils, parents, staff and governors at John Fernley College and Longfield School, meanwhile, were celebrating their latest Ofsted reports. Both schools have a wider age range and more pupils following the shake-up. John Fernley, now in a new £15 million flagship building, previously rated as good, is now judged by school standards inspectors to be good with some outstanding features. Longfield, which had a £6 million extension, improved its rating from satisfactory to good. Belvoir High School in Bottisford, which has already received substantial investment to take pupils to GCSE, is already rated as outstanding. The principals of the four centres this week are confidently predicted a new era for education in the borough, with children achieving the best they can and improvements in public exam results year on year. A Melton couple who thought they would never be able to have children are celebrating the arrival of their twin boys Jaden Jack and George Moses. Paul and Louise Ward of Shelley Avenue conceived their first child, Josh, their miracle baby, through IVF fertility treatment 6 years ago, after numerous failed attempts. They originally thought they would never be able to have any more children, but tried IVF again. Then Louise gave birth to boys by caesarean section about noon on New Year's Day. Little Jaden Jack, who weighed £5 13.5 ounces, arrived first at 12.42. Followed by his brother George Moses, £5 7.5 ounces at 12.43. The babies were 5 weeks premature and had to be resuscitated and transferred to the neonatal unit at Queen's Medical Centre, but now are doing well at home. Looking at some news in brief, the Chief Constable of Leicestershire Police, Simon Cole, is to attend a public meeting to discuss policing in the Vale of Belvoir and the proposed closure of Bottisford Police Office. The meeting will be held at Bottisford Village Hall on Monday, January the 17th at 7 p.m. Bottisford Police Office is in Queen Street and is one of the 12 police buildings in Leicestershire and Rutland earmarked for closure. It's used by Melton's Police Rural North Beat team, which covers over 40 villages. Meanwhile, Leicestershire County Council's ruling cabinet has pledged to cut costs and prioritise key services as it tackles a real-term 20% fall in government grant over the next 2 years. The Council is proposing over the next 4 years to save £82 million, of which £58 million will come from efficiencies, loss of 1,000 posts, and change the way many services are delivered. What do you think? Has County Hall got it right? Email editor@meltontimes.co.uk.
Hi, this is Alan Duncan, and you are listening to the Melton Times podcast.
The Melton Times has once again teamed up with Melton Borough Council to run another Pride in Melton campaign, and you are already playing your part. Just about everybody can name a grot spot, pinpoint a dump car, a bent lamppost, or an area plagued by fly tippers. Our grot spot hotline went live last week, and we've already fielded a flurry of calls, all within the aim of making the borough a much cleaner and greener place to work, live and play. So if you've got a mess that needs clearing up, a sign that needs fixing, or a car that needs shifting, as a sample, various vehicles in states of repair on land on Corner Dobber Road and Kirby Lane. The caller said vehicles have been there for over a year and the area looked a disgrace. Litter being strewn on the old railway embankment off Asserby Road, rubbish and overgrown bushes behind the bus shelter on the main road to Melton and Grantham Road across from Carrion, and dog mess on footpaths. Call us on Melton 412 521. Melton Council has decided to maintain the status quo after consulting residents on the issue of dog control in Melton Country Park. The consultation, launched last November, asked the public for its views on whether all or part of the country park should be designated a compulsory dog on lead area. However, an overwhelming 68% of residents thought the park should remain as it is. The The consultation was sparked after a number of complaints about dogs off lead in the park and dog attacks. Overall, the council received 209 replies on the issue, mainly from users of the park living locally. A total of 142 were against the idea of dogs on leads, with 31 for the idea and 35 arguing that specific parts of the park should become designated compulsory dog on lead areas. Charity shops in Melton are appealing for donations from residents to replenish their depleting stock. Age Concern in Nottingham Street saw a dramatic drop in donations over the Christmas period and now is eager to stock up on essentials to avoid bare shelves. Items to donate to your local charity shop include menswear and womenswear, linen, shoes, handbags, jewellery, bric-a-brac, toys, books, CDs and DVDs. Meanwhile, Melton Royal British Legion has sent out a massive thank you after its poppy appeal topped more than £20,000. The current total stands at £20,339.82 and counting. The branch said it was delighted given the tough economic times everyone is facing. The RBL in Leicestershire and Rutland is set to hit its target of £500,000. Also, Leicestershire County Council has launched a project to record and celebrate the RBL's contributions. It aims to gather the memories of Legion members in Leicestershire and Rutland of all ages to reflect different decades of the charity's activities. Members with photos, film or objects relating to Legion work are being urged to contact project leader Margaret Bonney. That's margaret.bonney, B-O-N-N-E-Y, at leicestershire.gov.uk. Blue Brew set to make a comeback as popularity soars. After the runaway success of Beaver Brewery's latest beer, Blue Brew, plans are afoot to make the limited edition Stilton Ale an established product within the company. Colin Brown, head brewer and director of Beaver Brewery, teamed up with the Stilton Cheesemaker Association to create the beer and was blown away by its popularity. In total, Colin sold a staggering 1,500 bottles of Blue Brew, and the product even managed to stir up an online presence, with bottles being sold at auction site eBay. The beer is 4.2% ABV and is made by mixing 25% of Stilton Whey with 75% of unfermented beer wort, creating unique, smooth taste and a light, creamy texture. Film fan Marie lives her dream. Movie fan Marie Ward lived her dream when she flew to America to be part of the 30th anniversary celebrations of her favourite film. She mixed with actors, directors and producers of Somewhere in Time, set in the early 1900s, and said it was like being in a time capsule. The film is set on the island of Mackinac in Lake Huron, Michigan, and it was there she spent 3 days at the end of last year, drinking in the atmosphere and being transported back in time. Marie is a member of the international fan base of the film, and there are get-togethers every year, but this was the first time Marie, who was the only English person there, had made the journey. And in free time this week, popular Rolling Stones tribute band Sticky Fingers are to play a charity fundraising gig at Long Clawson Village Hall on Friday, January the 21st. There'll also be a Real Ale bar and a raffle on the night, with a signed Leicester City shirt among the top prizes. The concert will raise cash for the British Heart Foundation. The band recently played another charity gig for Pablo's Horse Sanctuary at Long Clawson. Tickets are available from John at Long Clawson Village stores on Melton 822 315. Meanwhile, if you're looking for a bit of panto, Harby Harlequins are gearing up for their annual pantomime, which opens in the Village Hall next month. This year it's Jack and the Beanstalk, which has an original script and professional costumes, lighting and sound equipment. There'll also be a live band. The show opens on Wednesday, February the 2nd and runs till Saturday, February the 5th at 7:30, with a Saturday matinee at 2 in the afternoon. Tickets are now on sale and can be bought from Judith on 01949 860 713. And finally, in free time, looking at the silver screen, Commoner helps our king overcome fears. The King's Speech, Certificate 12A, is an impeccably crafted chapter from recent British history that charts a remarkable and unlikely friendship between two men from opposite sides of the class divide. More information can be found by ringing the Regal on Melton 562251 or regal-melton.co.uk. And finally, in sport, golf fans are set for a treat after organisers confirmed the European Senior Tour will return to Stapleford Park in June. Supporters come from across the borough and far beyond as they flock to see the giants of the sport do battle on the fairways and greens at Stapleford's Championship course last May. The second edition of the ISPS Handa Senior Masters, presented by the Stapleford Forum, will pit entrants over the 3 rounds, getting underway on Wednesday, June the 3rd, with a tournament climax on June the 5th. Well, that's about it. Of course, the full stories can be found in the Melton Times. So until next week, when we'll have yet more news and sport, have a very safe week. That was your JK Media production for the Melton Times.